welcome to Sublime Shimmies. I'm really excited to be teaching this class because shimmies are one of my favorite movements to use to express the music. And in Middle Eastern dance, the music kind of tells us what to do. And shimmies are an amazing tool to use to really embody the music. So we are going to work on a little bit of, we're going to warm up, we're going to do a little bit of range of motion, we're going to do some strength exercises, some drills, and then we're going to play a lot, because one of the best parts about, one of the most useful things to do with your shimmy is to play. And I feel like this is how you come up with really cool things to do, and how you really start to embody your shimmy with your own body. One of my biggest things about a shimmy that I always say when I start is that everyone's body looks different doing this dance form, and different weights, placement, and body placements work better for different bodies. So I am never one to say you have to shimmy with your weight over the balls of your feet. This is how you shimmy. This is the rule. Like, I don't feel like there are any rules. You have to find what works best with your body. And we're gonna play a lot with weight shift and weight placement, so we can find that. And I also think that it may change over time. When I look back, years ago, and maybe even 6 months ago, and I see videos of me dancing and how I shimmied, it's so different than how it is now. So I think you'll find that as you evolve in your dance journey, your shimmy will evolve too, because it's so deeply personal. So let's warm up a little bit, and then I'll do some more talking and all this good stuff. We'll do our range of motion. All right. All right, we're gonna start with our feet a little bit wider than our hips. And we're gonna reach up, inhale, go ahead and exhale. Oh, I didn't wear my shimmy skirt today. And bend the knees. I should have. Upstairs, I'm teaching my home studio today. It's upstairs, so I can go grab it, I guess. Reach up. And bend the knees. And reach up. We're gonna step down with the right, reach with the right. And left. And right. Good. Really lift the rib cage. Lift the ribs. Press the hip down. And lift the rib. Try to lengthen this part of your body as much as possible. Good, yeah. Lengthen. And press into the floor. We're gonna use the floor a lot today. So we're gonna start here. Press. Press. Good. Press. Press. Let's give ourselves a hug. And press out. I'm giving myself a hug. Making a C curve with my back, pressing out. And give yourself a hug. And press out. One more time, give yourself a hug. Press out. All right, roll the shoulders. Good. Roll them. Nice. My shoulders are super crunchy today. And back. I wonder if you can hear that on my microphone because it's so close to my shoulder. Crunch. All right, we're gonna swing our arms right and left. Good. 2 more. All right, roll the head to the right. And shoulders to the right. Head to the left. Shoulders to the left. Good. All right, we're gonna stand in parallel, feet right underneath ourselves, and we're just gonna slide our hips. So we're starting to work on some of the range of motion exercises that I really like to do in my practice. Shimmies are really a mix of strength and pliability and tension and relaxation. So that makes them one of the harder movements to get down. So we're really gonna shift over, shift good, yeah, shift and shift. And I hope you feel a little stretch when you do this. My knees are a little bit soft. They're not in a bent position doing this, but they're just a little bit soft to facilitate the movement. Yeah. Okay, so we're underneath our hips and we're just gonna take it a little bit wider and keep sliding. So now I'm going to slide a little bit more into my hip, okay, here, and I feel a nice stretch. Hopefully you do too. Good. And if you don't feel a stretch, maybe try to shift your weight a little bit more. Good. Okay, now we're gonna take our feet together again. We are gonna bend our knees a little and we're gonna press into, I call this the corner of my booty. It's not the back, it's not the side, it's the corner. So we're gonna press right into here and bend the front knee. Okay, so we're just stretching and switch. And our feet are right under our hips. Switch, press, and hopefully you feel a good stretch. Stretch. Good. Nice. And I'm twisting my hips. Maybe go a little bit quicker now and twist, 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 twist. Good. And this is a range of movement and warm-up exercise, so it doesn't have to be super precise. Focus on how it feels, not so much on how it looks. Okay, we're gonna take our feet apart. We're gonna slide again, and then we're gonna press into the corner of our booty again. So we're gonna press, press, so it looks a little weird. Our legs are apart. It's about the function, not the look. Good. All right, we're gonna stretch our hip flexors. So we're gonna place one foot a little bit back, and we're gonna keep that back leg straight, and we're just gonna bend the front leg a little bit, and think about tucking the pelvis just a little bit so your tailbone is pointed to the floor. Like if you don't feel a stretch here, tuck your tailbone a little bit, okay? And then I definitely feel a stretch, especially because it's morning. And then we'll switch to the other side, whatever side you didn't do. So a little lunge, back leg is straight, and then you're just gonna tuck your pelvis underneath yourself just a little bit, pressing forward. Stretch that. And I feel like my body wants to do it again, so we're gonna do it one more time. Other side. Hip flexor. Press forward. Stretch right in here. Good. Okay, and switch when you're ready. Press forward. Good. Okay, I'm gonna switch up the music a little bit. We're gonna warm up the legs and the feet a little bit more. We'll do this one. Okay. We're gonna press into the right and bend both legs. So my right foot is popped, and I'm pressing into the arch of my foot. Pressing into the arch. Good, and hopefully, Lauren, this probably doesn't feel super great. So just do what your body needs to do. And switch to the left. Press forward. I am also spreading my toes on the floor, so I get a little bit of a nice stretch that way too, splaying my toes. Two more. 1, and 2. Now let's do 4 to the right. 2. We're really pressing into the floor and bending our knees, okay? The knee bend is important. The press into the floor is important. Press, press, press. I say this so much, but I dance into the floor, not on top of the floor. And that's super helpful in my technique. And we'll do 2s each side. I think we did 8 there. And 2, and left. 4, 2, and right. For 2, and left. For 2, now singles. Singles, singles, singles. Good. All right, we're gonna bend our knees and straighten them. Think about pulling up your pants. Not your real pants, but I'm thinking about pulling my pants up, and I'm thinking about contracting my quads as I straighten, okay? I am keeping my glutes kind of relaxed as I do this, okay? So I'm not tight all up the body. I'm keeping my glutes relaxed. And this is because I want them to wag for my shimmy. So we're preparing for our shimmy. So we'll keep them relaxed, okay? So we're gonna bend the knees, straighten, and engage the quads. Good, yep. Bend the knees, pressing into the floor of those feet. Straighten. Bend the knees. And straighten. Bend the knees. And straighten. Good. Bend the right, bend the left. Bend the right. This time we're not going to press into our booty, okay? We're just releasing the hip out to the side. Left, right, and left. Right, good. Left, right, left. A little bit quicker. Right, left, right, left. So getting this into our bodies, so our body knows what to do when we start to speed it up, is really important. So this is one of those things that you can do when you're otherwise occupied with something that you don't have to do anything with your body for. Maybe you're at your standing desk. We used to say you can wear like a long winter, in Buffalo, you know, you can wear a long winter jacket. Nobody will really know what you're doing. You just look like you're cold and you're trying to warm up, but now it's summer, so I guess you can't do that. Keep going. And you can just relax your upper body. You don't have to do anything with it. I want you now to think about how far you can get your knee forward while you're still maintaining the tempo of the song. Range of movement of the legs, the knee bend. Good, yeah, that's nice. Skirt looks awesome too. Keep going. Really make a nice little triangle of light between your legs. Get that knee forward. Keep going. Good. Okay, another classic exercise is on the floor. So if you don't mind getting on the floor, some of you might know what we're about to do. We're about to do the same thing, but on the floor. So we're gonna have our legs in the front of us, and we are actually not gonna flex. We're just gonna relax the feet, okay? Because we want to focus on our knees and the upper part of our legs for this. So you also want to straighten out your hip flexors as much as possible. So we're just gonna kind of lean back here. You can also be back here if you want. We're kind of simulating a standing up position, okay? So here or here, whatever is comfortable for you. And we're gonna lift the right knee and then drop it. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. Lift, drop. Lift, drop. Try to really drop it instead of placing it down. Okay. Drop it. Drop it. A little bit quicker. Drop, drop, drop. Good. Drop, drop, drop. Just one leg. Double time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna try doing double time again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Woo! Okay. Maybe do some windshield wipers with your knees. If your hip flexor just got tired like mine. Yeah, good. Okay, we're gonna do the other leg. Lift and drop. So the goal here is to keep it lifting as much as when you're doing it slow. So every time we speed it up, you ideally want to keep the same range of motion. If you're leaning back here, make sure that you're pressing out of the arm so you're not sinking back like this. Drop. Drop. Lift. Drop. 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 Good. Drop. Drop. Try to really lift that knee. Lift the knee. Lift the knee. Yeah, there we go. Good. Double time after this one. 1, 2, 3. This is a good TV watching exercise. Just a thought. Okay. Here we go, let's do it double time after this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Okay. I don't know about you, but I notice when I do those exercises that one leg is stronger than the other. For me, it's my left leg. It cooperates a lot better, it's stronger. So that is just something to keep in mind. Everybody has a stronger, better leg, so just make sure that you try to train to kind of even that out, because it will come back for you when you stand up and shimmy. That leg that's a little less strong sometimes gets a little stuck. So now we're gonna do both knees. Okay, so we're gonna alternate, same thing, and really lift that knee, pressing out of the floor. Good, yeah, that's really nice. Relaxing your feet. Double time after this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. My legs are very loud on the floor. Full speed. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and 8. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1, and windshield wipers. And then we'll stand up when our hip flexors are feeling refreshed from this. Good. All right, when you're ready, come on up. Okay. So we also want to work our vertical hips, okay? So we are going to just lift. This is another kind of casual upper body thing. You can just have your arms dangling here. We're gonna lift our hip, and you can kind of keep your legs straight. Lift it and then drop it, okay? Straight down, good. Lift, drop. So we are stretching the side of our body, bending our leg as we drop it into the floor. Lift, drop. Check in with your posture where your hips are, because for this one, a lot of folks tend to kind of let go of the hips. Okay, so make sure you're not doing that. Good. Good. All right, other side. Lift, drop. When you lift, really scrunch. Make some folds in your body. folds in your shirt. Yeah, you want to touch your hip to your rib cage. I mean, that's what we're imagining. Lift, drop. Now we're just gonna alternate, drop, and drop, and drop, and drop. Good. Arms out to the side. Drop, and drop, and drop. Good. And drop, and drop. A little bit quicker. Drop, 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 drop. Good. Really get that hip down. Press, 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 press. Good. Yeah, there we go. You can look, if you see yourself in your camera, you can use that, or a mirror, to kind of give you a little visual. You should see your pants line tilting. Good. Nice. Okay, we're just gonna do some hip circles. Forward and back. Forward, back. Forward and back. Forward and other way. To the left. Good. Forward. Pressing into your hip flexors as you come forward. Bending the legs, pressing into your hip flexors. Forward, back. Figure eights. Good. Shifting your weight, pressing into the floor, and shifting right and left. Bring your hips around. We're gonna do some layering today too. So this is going to come back later. We're moving our feet on the floor. They don't need to stay in the same spot. They are moving on the floor. Good. A little bit quicker. 1, 2. My knees are bent. I'm moving my feet on the floor. I'm shifting my weight left and right. Good. Nice. A little bit quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. Feet together. Okay. We are going to twist. So what we are going to do is lift the rib cage away from our hips to prepare for our twist. One of the things we're going to work on when we really get into our shimmy in a minute is the placement of your rib cage and your hips and your knees and your feet, and how that affects how the shimmy looks. So the rib cage lift is one of the tools that I use to lengthen my torso. I have a bit of a shorter torso. So I would like to use smoke and mirrors to try to make it look like I have a longer torso. And when you lift your rib cage, you also unlock some extra jiggle in your belly, which everybody wants that. So bonus points, okay? So you lift up, your belly jiggles a little bit more, and you're going to create more separation in your movement. So your chest and your pelvis further apart, and your isolations look more isolated, okay, when you lift this. Versus when you stand like a normal person here, okay, it looks fine. I'm lifting my rib cage, it looks way better, okay? I'm really creating separation. My isolation of my lower and upper body is more clear, okay? So we're gonna lift the rib cage. I like to take my hands and literally lift my rib cage because it gives me that feedback to my body, like, this is what we're doing, okay? Of course, when you're performing, you can't be like, but it's good for practice, yeah. I mean, I guess that could be a comedic moment maybe for dancers or something like that, but generally speaking, you cannot touch our rib cage, okay? But in my practice, I do like to hold on to my rib cage, lift it. I'm telling myself, lift your rib cage, okay? So we're lengthening the torso. Now, when we lift our rib cage, we don't want to go like this. Okay, so make sure you're not shifting your pelvis back. Make sure your pelvis is still underneath your rib cage. Okay, I'm thinking about lifting from right here. okay? Instead of lifting from my chest, I'm thinking of lifting from underneath. Yeah, exactly. Good, yeah. So we create a nice long torso, and we're just gonna twist, 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 twist. Good. Twist, twist. And I'm pressing into the floor with my feet. I like to, for my twist, keep my weight in the middle of my feet, okay? Because if I were to, for me, for my body, if I had my weight over the balls of my feet, I might be tempted to kind of lift my heels as I do it or something. So, you know, I like to keep really centered here. Okay, my weight is over my whole foot. Okay, so lift that rib cage. Twist, 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 twist. Good. Twist. Double time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Soft knees. Very nice. Double time. I like to think about my hip bones kind of coming forward, hitting something in front of me, so that I keep it going forward, 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 instead of back, 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 and it starts getting smaller. Forward, 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 forward. Much more fun when you have fringe. Okay, so now we are going to shift our weight. So you can stop your twist for a second. We're gonna shift our weight. Shift. Shift. Pressing into the floor. Shift. And shift. And shift. And shift. Lift your rib cage. Twist and shift. Twist and shift. Good. I always get a stitch in my side when I do twists and teach because I'm talking and I'm twisting and I always get one. When you shift, try to really shift. So your body is not in the middle doing this like, not really shifting thing. Really get over that leg. Over that leg. Yeah, good. Over that leg. Over that leg. Good. Good. Let's take a deep breath in. And exhale. Good. All right. Shake it out. Woo. Okay. So we are going to do a regular shimmy. Not a traveling shimmy or a twisting shimmy. We are going to play around a little bit with our knees and the bend of our legs first, okay? So dynamics in shimmies is kind of the main focus of this class today. And I'm gonna tell you about a few different ways that I can, things that I can use to help me play with dynamics with my shimmies, okay? So most of what we're gonna do is going to be a more regular shimmy as opposed to like a traveling hagala or you know, something like that. So we're gonna do a little bit of traveling shimmies at the end, but the bulk of our expression play is gonna be a simple knee shimmy, okay? Which is not very simple at all, actually. So first, let's just go over what I like to do with my shimmy. Like I said at the beginning of class, everyone's shimmy is deeply personal and very different. So I'm going to tell you some things that I like to do for myself that you can try out with your body, but it's not a rule. There are no rules. You need to find what works for your body. So weight placement, we'll start with the feet and kind of come up from there. So some teachers are like, you have to shimmy over the balls of your feet. That's how you shimmy, which is fine. Maybe that's what works for them. I personally feel like however works best for your body and what kind of shimmy you're doing is what you should do, okay? So when I shimmy, generally speaking, I keep my weight over the middle of my feet, but depending on what I'm doing, I might shift forward and back. Okay, so we are going to do a little bit of work with shifting our weight back and forward and just feeling how it feels in our body. When I shimmy, my normal, like, run of the mill, I'm just warming up shimmy. Or if I'm going to add just like a little thing in a choreography or improv, is a soft knee. So I'm here, it's soft, it's not locked, and it's also not super bent like this, okay? So my like standard shimmy that I then build on is just a soft knee, and I'm using my knee bend to drive the movement, okay? So there are also hip shimmies. There are many different ways to make a shimmy. This is like my standard, okay? And I'll change it up depending on what the music is telling me to do, okay? So we're gonna start with the standard, and we're gonna do a little bit with weight transfers, okay? And then we're gonna work on the first thing that I use for dynamics, okay? So let me get some music started so we can work on weight shifts first, okay? So let's start with our shimmy. Let's start with our weight in the middle of our feet, okay? I also neglected to mention where your feet are, okay? We're gonna do that first too, okay? So we're doing weight shifts, our feet are gonna move, and where we are on our foot, okay, forward and back, okay? So I keep my my legs kind of just below my hips where it's comfortable. So they're not together, they're not apart like this. They're just underneath my hips. That's gonna mean something different to everybody's body, okay? So get your knees going. Good, yeah. Check in with your pelvis. Is it right underneath your rib cage? Another thing I want to say is that sometimes you have good shimmy days and some days it's like, yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going so well today. So it's like anything else, you know? Sometimes it's on point. And maybe some days you feel a little bit tighter, you know, it just depends. And there are things you can do to work on that, like warm up properly and such, but you know, sometimes our body is just different certain days. Okay, so we're in the middle of our feet. We're gonna shift to the balls of our feet and shimmy. Good. And shift back to the middle. And shift back. So I can almost pick up my toes. In fact, I think some teachers tell you to lift your toes when they're teaching shimmy, so I think I've heard that before. Yeah. And back to the middle. And back to the front, over the balls of our feet. Good. And middle. And to the back. And back to the middle. Okay, so now pick the one that you feel like is working best for your body today. And you can choose whichever one you want. Middle, front, or back. And you can change it at any time too, so you can continue to play. So we're just going to shift side to side. And we're gonna keep the shimmy going while we're shifting. So we're not gonna stop the shimmy at all. It's gonna keep going. I always suggest that dancers walk around the house with a shimmy because being able to shift your weight while you maintain the shimmy is super important. Because when you do a choreography and all that you do is just like shimmy with your feet together and just basic, it's less fun. So add some pizzazz by shifting your weight and using all these tools we're going to explore today. Shift to the right. To the left. Good, yes, nice. And really shifting over, that's really good. Yeah. So I could pick up my right foot right now. And in fact, pick it up. See what happens. Yeah. Yeah, be careful. You can always hold on to something too. Good, shifting. Shift. 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 Good. Shift. Shift. Nice. Good. Let's take our feet together. We're going to press into the floor to lift the heels. So up onto the balls of our feet and press the heels down. Lift onto the balls of our feet and down. And 2 more times. Down. And last one. Good. And down. Okay, we're gonna walk around to the right with a shimmy, just around yourself in your own space. So we're gonna shift forward. Shift. So ideally, you have a walk that looks natural. Like if I were to just look at your feet, I would hardly be able to tell that you're shimmying. So you're not like this. You know? Now this is of course the ideal situation. It takes a lot of practice to get here, but a casual walk with our shimmy on top of it. Good, yes. And then just walk around the other way. Let's take our arms up and roll our shoulders back. If you feel like that tension is creeping upward, woo, you can just stop and shake it out. Yeah. And one of the other things that I always recommend with dancers is if you feel like you have one leg that's not cooperating today, it's best to just kind of stop, reset, and start over instead of trying to push your way through it and your right leg is like, no, 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 because I feel that when you do that, you're kind of teaching your body like, this is how the shimmy is. My right leg doesn't have to work, you know? So try not to push through it. Try to just stop, reset, start over. Start over. Yeah, that's another suggestion of mine. Okay, so we are going to talk about level of our knees, of our legs, and of our torso, okay? So lifting and sinking, okay? So one of the tools that I use for expression in my shimmies is bending my knees more and coming up to a more lifted, higher center of gravity shimmy, okay? So what I do to make that happen for my low grounded shimmy is I'll maybe bend my knees a little bit more. You don't have to necessarily go for a level change, you know, all the way down, but it makes your shimmies look a little deeper, a little more grounded, bending your knees, okay? So I'm gonna bend my knees, and when I do that, I keep my rib cage up, so it's almost like if I had an elastic band between my rib cage and my hips. My rib cage is staying here and my hips are stretching down, okay? So I'm bending my knees and I'm imagining that there's an elastic band right here and my hips are stretching down and my rib cage is staying where it is, okay? And this is a slight thing that you're gonna feel, and it's also gonna appear. It's gonna make a subtle change in what your body looks like, okay? So I'm bending my knees, my hips are kind of heavy and downward. And when I do that, my shimmy wags a little bit more, okay? It tends to kind of get a little bit more side, 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 side. Okay? Yeah. Oh, that looks so good. Yeah. Good. So I'm bending my knees a little bit more. From the side view, bending my knees. Remember, my standard shimmy was kind of up here. Now I'm bending my knees a little bit more. Good. Yeah. And then the opposite of that is pulling up. So remember at the beginning of class when we were warming up and we straightened the legs and we engaged the quads, but we kept our glutes relaxed? This is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm bending my knees, shimmy down here, and then I'm going to pull up, and I'm going to straighten my legs even more. So my knee bend is a little smaller, and I'm going to bring the center of gravity of my shimmy a little higher. Okay? So it's low, 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 and higher. Okay, so you can express the swells and the dynamics of the music by using this tool, okay? So we're just going to play around with it a little bit to a piece of music. Okay, lifted and heavy are what we're playing with right now. So I'm gonna tell you about three, so weight shifts was one of them. So I don't know if that one counts. Three different ways that I use to play, three different methods that I use to play with dynamics. And they kind of overlap a little bit, okay? And then we'll combine them all and we'll dance to some different pieces of music. So right now we're doing lifted and heavy. Heavy, lifted, okay? Center of gravity high, center of gravity low, okay? So we're gonna dance to some Takseems. This one is called Long Wait. So as the pitch gets a little higher, we're gonna bring it up. And then as it gets a little lower and swells, we're gonna bring it down. Up and down, okay? But first, let's just do a little bit of drilling. So we're gonna pull it up. Knees are a little bit straighter. Our pelvis feels a little bit higher. Center of gravity up. Lift the rib cage. And down. Bend your knees a little bit deeper. You have a little bit more of a wag. Good. And straighten. Bring it higher. And down. And straighten, bring it higher. And when you lift your rib cage, your belly hopefully will jiggle a little bit more. And this is super, like, audiences love this when you when you go down into this like really big powerful shimmy that's lower center of gravity, and then you pull up and your belly, blah, 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 blah. Big hit. So do it. Okay, so we're gonna play with this piece of music. So I'm gonna stop talking so much and I'm gonna let you listen to it. There are no wrong answers, okay? Let the music tell you what to do, but there are no wrong answers, okay?
Can you turn up the music a little bit?
Yes, I can. One is a little quiet. How's that? Is that better?
It's better.
Okay, I can turn it up a little bit too. Oh. Okay, good. I'm gonna pause it for a sec. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start it over and I'm gonna let you play only with lifted and heavy. Lifted, heavy. That's it. So I'm gonna make you stick to those two things for right now. And like I said, no wrong answers. Let the music tell you what to do. You're probably gonna want to do more, but we'll get there. Don't worry. We got to start small and we'll start from the beginning and just do a little piece of this music. And then go on to the next thing. There. Good. Nice. Okay, how did that feel? Good. It felt a little bit like, oh my gosh, I'm holding myself back a lot because tech seams are so beautiful and yeah, but this is how we explore these things. So now we're gonna let ourselves lift And we're gonna do two of these concepts now, okay? So we're gonna add shifting, okay? So you can shift your weight. You can make beautiful positions with your lower body, okay? Shifting your weight around and doing your lift and heaviness, okay? So lifted and heavy and weight shift. So that will allow you to express a little bit more. Yeah, good. Same song. And finish. Yeah. It probably felt a little bit better, a little more free. Yeah. So the next thing that we're going to explore is
I started getting into a chest shimmy accidentally. I got
oh,
into
that's
it. And I
okay.
was like,
That's okay.
I was like, oh wait, no, this is not what we're supposed to be doing.
That's okay. Do what you got to do, you know? Yeah. So the next one we are going to do, hang on. Okay. And the next thing we're gonna do is large and small. So like I said, there's some overlap. Okay, so you found that probably when you were heavier that you were moving a little bigger out to the side. Okay, so yeah, so there's some overlap in these concepts. So we're going to explore tiny shimmies and larger shimmies. Okay, so what I use to make this happen is, again, a little bit of overlap. So I'm really using my knee bend when I want to make a big, 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 big shimmy. Okay? I'm thinking about making sure that my flesh on my legs and my glutes are blah, 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 blah. Okay? So there's no sense in trying to make yourself not jiggle when you're shimmying. You want to jiggle. Okay? So my legs are relaxed. My glutes are relaxed. And ideally, you get a little rub with your thighs, okay? Then you know that you're doing it right. When your thighs are rubbing together and your leggings wear out right there. Yes. These leggings have held up very well to my many years of shimmying, so not all of them have, but okay, so I use my knees, my range of motion of my knees to make it a bigger shimmy. I'm thinking about side, 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 wagging my tail. Side, 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 side. And I'm really thinking about pressing into the floor. Pressing into the floor, okay? And releasing my hips. So one of the things that I see a lot is legs doing so much work but not releasing into the hips, okay? So if you look at me right now, I'll do it from the side view and the front view. My legs are working and my legs look like they're doing the right thing, right? But my hips are like not really moving. I mean, they are a little bit, but not a whole lot because I'm holding tension in my hips and I'm not releasing into the hips, okay? I'm not releasing into the hips. So your legs can be working as hard as they want to, but if you're not releasing into the hips, you're not gonna get that side, 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 side. Okay? Release into the hips. Let your hips wag, 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 wag. Yeah, good. Nice. Yes, okay, so the difference again, my knees are doing so much work, Woo, but I'm holding my hips tight, so I'm getting minimal shimmy. And now I'm going to release into the hips. Legs are doing the exact same thing, but I'm letting my hips go side, relaxing my glutes. And I get way more wag. Yes, that looks great. Nice. And I can really see the push into the floor. Yeah, that looks great. So, big and small. Okay, so we're going to, as the music crescendos, we're going to get bigger and smaller. So big, wag, and then small. And what I do is I kind of do a little bit less range of motion with my legs, okay, with my knee bend. And I bring it in a little bit tighter, and I start to hold a little bit of tension in my hips, like I was doing when I said I wasn't releasing. So here, and bring it in, but keep the legs moving a little bit less too. So you don't want the legs, not that you can usually see our legs when we're in our costumes, but sometimes you can. And so you don't want your legs to steal the show and nothing to be happening right here, right? So make sure that it's proportional. The work is coming out in your hips. Or if you want your shimmies to be smaller in your hips, small in your legs. They need to be small in your legs too. Okay? So little and big. And bring it in. And release it. And bring it in. And release it. And bring it in. And release it. Yes. Good. Okay, so let's work on a song for that. We're going to do this one. Okay, so first one, we're going to drill this concept. Bigger and smaller, and then we're going to explore the music. We're going to go big and small. And big. Good, and small. Big. Small. Big. And bigger. And bring it in. Small shimmy. And finish. Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to let you explore that music. Let the music tell you what to do when it swells. So I tend to kind of, when there's a crescendo and the pitch gets lower and deeper, maybe get bigger, bring it up as it goes faster and higher pitch maybe, but it's going to be different for everyone. So play around with it, and then you can always, we'll do it a couple times. If the first time you're like, I don't know, you can do something different the next time. Yes. And this is one of the best tools with this dance form, is playing. This is how you make your coolest stuff. This is how you make the most improvement is playing, taking concepts that you've learned and playing with them in your own body and being consistent about your practice and your play. So important. Okay. So we will do that. Improv. So now you can just, the first round, we're going to do just big, small. The second round, we can do big with weight shifts and lift and drop. So we're going to do those 3. So we're kind of building. So, but I'll go over that in a minute. So for the first one, we're just going to do large and small. Okay, so you don't have to add on too much. Don't overwhelm yourself, but you are allowed to, I will allow you to do weight shifts now with your big and small, and lifted and heavy. Heavy, lifted, big, small weight shifts. So now you can add on all the things that we've done so far, if you choose. Okay? I also wanted to say, before we start again, especially with this song, because this song has some pause in it, which is really nice. This is a whole different, I could teach a whole class on this, but allowing yourself to breathe and have moments of pause and suspense is really important, especially when you're doing a taksim and there's kind of ebb and flow. So, da, 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 da. You can let yourself stop for a minute. You don't have to shimmy through the silence. Okay. Yeah, so really let the music tell you. Let's do it again. And finish there. Good. Nice. Great. Okay. So we are going to do speed next, which is the last one, and then we're going to do a little bit of layering with these concepts to different music. So speed, fast and slow. Okay, so we tend to have like this standard speed of our shimmy. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6, but it's not always appropriate for what we are dancing to. Like this taksim that you just heard, if you were to just do the same speed and never kind of let up or go faster or slower, then you're really limiting how you're expressing the piece. Okay, so we have to be able to play with speed as well with our shimmy. So when I slow it down, I feel like it's easier to go faster than slower with a shimmy because we're used to going fast. We're used to our, powering through a shimmy, bam, 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 bam. But slower is hard, okay? And what I want you to think about when you go slower is honestly when you do your drills, when you do your shimmy drills, because we start slow when we do our shimmy drills. And it's okay to do it like that, a more wag, slow, side, side, side shimmy. Yeah. Try to release a little bit more into the hips and go side, 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 side. Yeah, there we go. So, slow, pause, and then you can bring it faster, which is, we're all used to going really fast and powering through a shimmy, okay? So, we are going to play with a nice slow shimmy wag. Okay, so get your wag started. I'm gonna turn on some music. We're gonna do the same thing we just did, but play with speed. Slow, and then a little bit quicker, medium, and fast, 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 fast. Yes, and I'm sure you're noticing the overlap between all the concepts. When you're going slower, your knees are bending more. It feels heavier, okay? Your center of gravity is a little lower with your pelvis. And when you speed it up, it naturally kind of comes a little higher. Your knees get a little bit less range of motion, but still ideally a significant, a nice juicy amount of range of motion, right? So there's that overlap between all the concepts. Yeah. Okay. One more piece of music where we're gonna play around. I'll lead you through the first one, and then you're gonna do your own the second time, and then we're gonna do a third time where we do all these concepts together where you can play with all of them with this piece of music. Okay. Duo Oud Kanun is this song. Oops. It's this one. So we're gonna listen to the canoe. This is the canoe. Fast. And we're gonna kind of, when we do our improv section, you can listen to the plucks of the canoe and oud and reflect that in your speed of your shimmy. We're gonna do a nice slow shimmy. Faster and fastest. Low. Medium and quick. And medium and slow. Medium and quick. Medium and slow. Good. Yes. Okay, so now I will stop talking over the music and you are going to play with speed with the same piece of music. Okay? And we'll finish here. Yeah. For me, I noticed that when I play with speed, it's the hardest thing to stand in one place. Like I'm really struggling to stay here. I tried a few times. Nope, I'm not allowed to do that. So now you can transfer the weight. You can play with lifted and heavy. You can play with speed. And you can play with, what am I missing? Levels, speed, large and small, obviously. Yes, play with all of those concepts, all four things, okay? And we'll do that same piece of music. And then we're gonna start layering some movements on, which I'm really excited about. Okay, let's do it. Good. We're gonna finish here. Good. Nice. So I bet you noticed how you were shifting your weight on forward and back throughout the whole section, depending on kind of what worked better for where you were in the space. Okay, So that's one thing I wanted to point out. And the other thing I wanted to point out is while you can consciously think about these four concepts while you're practicing and playing, eventually it'll just become part of your body and you won't have to think so much about, oh, let me practice, large and small. Let me try weight shifts. Like it'll just come out of your body. It's like anything else, you practice it enough, your body will just do it. It's amazing. So, practice these a lot. Write down those four things, put it on your wall maybe so you can reference it so you don't forget those four things, but eventually it'll just become part of you, part of your shimmy, and then it will just come out naturally. So I'm not Arab. I've never lived in the Middle East. I've traveled there, but I've never lived there. And so, it's not part of my heritage to do this form of dance. It's not in my blood. So to make things look natural, you have to watch people of the cultures of origin doing them, learn from them, study a lot with a lot of different dancers, and then internalize it into your body. And that's how you make things natural to you when your grandma didn't, dance for you since you were born. So, although my daughter's grandma is dancing for her since she was born, even though we're not Arab. But so maybe my daughter will be like supernatural at this really young. So yes, it will become internalized the more you practice, and we can lay things out and think about them, but it will eventually just become natural. Yes. Okay, so I want to do some layering. Okay. One of my favorite layers is figure eights and circles, smooth movements with a shimmy, okay? Because I feel like A, it's impressive. B, it's a good way if you're doing like a really long set. It's a good way to conserve your energy a little bit, okay? And it looks really cool, and you can play with lifted heavy weight shifts. You can play with all of these things. So we're going to do some figure eights. Okay, we did these in warm-ups without a shimmy. Horizontal figure eights. And we're going to do some vertical figure eights. I love layering vertical figure eights onto a shimmy. And we did not do these in warm-up. So let's do some vertical figure eights real quick without a shimmy. Nice and smooth. I'm using the floor. I'm pressing into the floor. I'm straightening the action leg, and as I sink into the middle, I'm bending it. I'm pressing into my right leg. I'm going to face behind so I can talk about my right leg and it's your right leg too. So I'm pressing into my left leg, straightening the left leg, pulling the hip up, and when I sink the hip down, I'm bending that left knee, and then I press the left knee into the floor, straighten the right, pressing into the floor, sink. Pressing off, sink, pressing off, sink. And I'm thinking about reaching my hip out to the side, range of motion. And I want to keep this, good. I want to keep this while I am shimmying. So I don't want the range of motion of the core movement to be super affected by adding the shimmy onto it. Ideally with layers, we keep the integrity of each movement and we just add onto it. Okay, so let's get our shimmy started. We're gonna be a little bit wider than normal, which I kind of love to feel I just love the feel of shimmy in a wider stance. I don't ever do it like just here, right? But when I am doing layers, I'm often a little bit wider than my hips, okay? Depending on the layer, of course. I should say when I'm doing loopy layers, like figure eights, here, here. I often just have a little bit of a wider stance, okay? So maybe just a little bit wider than my hips. So I'm shifting around. We'll do our horizontal figure eights first, good. And I'm adding my little shimmy, good. So my knees are still going. This is the thing about me, is that when I do my layers, the types of layers that I do, I still use my knee shimmy. And I know other people are like, no, you have to use a hip shimmy, but I still do my knees. So you can try it out. And if you like to keep it, then keep it. And if you prefer to do a hip shimmy, you can do a hip shimmy. There's no police, no belly dancer police that are going to come and get you. So I really want you to shift your weight over. Like I could pick up my foot when I'm over that one side. Yeah. Shift your weight, shift your weight, shift your weight. Good. Very nice. Good. And reach. Okay, we're gonna do our vertical figure eight. So again, I tend to have a wider stance when I do this, unless I want the look to be a little bit smaller and more internal. Okay, so look at the difference between this. Here, my energy is external here, kind of like shining outward, okay? And then when I bring my feet together, it becomes more of an internal movement, okay? So we're gonna do our more external movement, adding a shimmy. So vertical figure eights, and I add my shimmy, and my leg is still working. See that? Still working. Good, yes. I find that, so I said in the beginning that shimmying is all about strength and pliability. It's really a lot about strength. And I find that my legs are strong and they are able to power through a lot of shimmies, and I'm able to sustain through a longer set. Like sometimes I'm dancing for, I danced at a wedding recently where I swear I was dancing for like 45 minutes. It was supposed to be 25 minutes, but it ended up being really long. And you have to be able to get through that, because what are you gonna do? I gotta go. It's only been, So when I use my legs, they are strong and they're able to really power through. I always say work smarter and not harder. And this is my way, is using a knee shimmy, using my strong legs to power me through. Yeah, good. Very nice, good. And let's do horizontal figure eights. Good. And vertical figure eights, reaching out, reaching out, reaching out, reaching out. Okay, so we're gonna do the very beginning of Baladi Awadi from Scheherazad's very first album. I love this piece of music. And it's just, I think, a few seconds that we're gonna dance to. It's at the very beginning. And that's where we're gonna stop, okay? So it's about 30 seconds of the piece, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna play with our figure eight shimmy layer, and we're going to get bigger and smaller, heavier and lifted, okay? So did you hear in the music, it kind of swelled, it went, I'm a terrible singer, but that's what the music sounds like. So we are going to figure eight, big, and bring it in smaller. So when we go, you can do it either side, but I'm gonna go to the right, and left. Then we're gonna twist forward and back. Okay? So right circle, this is a figure eight, sorry. Figure eight to the right, figure eight to the left, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. And then it repeats. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Okay? And we're gonna shimmy on top of the figure eight. When we go to the right is when the music swells. Swells and then pulls in. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Swell, pull in. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. So we're gonna take a smaller shimmy to a bigger, heavier shimmy, more grounded, and then pull it in. Pull it out, pull it in. Pull it out, pull it in. Okay? So, start to get bigger and smaller. Yes. And this is how we reflect what's happening in the music. And if you dance with live musicians, they love to see it because they're like, she's paying attention to what we're doing. So, bigger, smaller. Bigger, smaller. And then we'll add the next little chunk on. I'm going to play it from the end so that I can come back to the center of my space. Yes. And see, do you hear how it kind of goes? You can even reflect that a little bigger, smaller, a little bigger, smaller, a little bigger, smaller in your shimmy, okay? So you can either do a smooth or you can go okay? So dancer's choice, or play with both. Let's do it a couple more times. I'm gonna face away from you toward the mirror, and then we'll add on the next part. Okay. Okay. Let's do it one more time, just the beginning, and then I'll add on that second chunk that I showed you, and we'll do it all the way through a few times. Okay? I'm gonna face you this time. Yes. Okay, so the last little part of this song that we're gonna do is we're gonna dig into the floor. We're gonna do, I call this a booty scoop. Booty scoop. So I'm transferring my weight. I'm on my right. I'm transferring to the left, back to the right. Transfer, transfer. Good. Yep. And when I transfer my weight to the left, my left hip is dropping. Left hip drops. Left hip drops. And then I scoop. Booty scoop. Booty scoop. So we're going to repeatedly booty scoop on the left side. Scoop. Ba-bum-bum. Scoop. Ba-bum-ba. Scoop. And then last one. Ba-bum-ba. Scoop. Okay, so there's 4 scoops. And we are going to listen to the music and not rush it. That's the other thing I want to talk about. Is it's so much better, especially with a song like this, way better to be late than early. So don't anticipate the music when you know the music, which is way easier said than done. Something that requires a lot of practice. We're gonna scoop and we're gonna play with small, big, heavy, lifted, heavy, lifted, heavy, and lifted. Okay? Heavy and lifted. Bra, ra, ra. And there's also that moment of pause in between each one where you're kind of suspending and your audience is like, is she gonna do it again? Is she gonna do it again? Okay? So leave them wondering da-da, da-da. Okay? And be amazed, because if you are amazed at what your body is doing, then your audience will also be amazed. How you feel, the audience feels. They can feel the energy coming off of you. So when you're happy, they're feeling it. When you're amazed at what you're doing, they're also feeling this. Okay? So be amazed at what you're doing, because it's not simple and not everybody can get up there and do it. Okay. I'm going to face away from you. And I'll face toward you. From the top. Boop. Good. Nice. Such a great song. Okay, one more time with this, and then we're going to play with a different piece of music and some other things. More playing. Good. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so that was our Baladiawadi playtime. Now we're going to play with a song that everybody knows. Everybody knows Chic Shack Shook. Yeah, have a drink of water, by the way. I haven't had a drink of water this entire time. It's not good. Okay. So everybody knows this song. And I dance to it a lot at like Arab weddings, because every age kind of likes the song. So it's a good one for every age group at a wedding. And one of my favorite parts is the middle of the song, when it goes into the slow part and you can kind of play. And I feel like it's, some people hate this song because they're like, it's so overdone, but it's fun. And I like to play with this song. And as many times as I dance to it, I still have a good time playing with this section. I'm not sick of it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm a basic belly dancer or something, but I still have fun with this song. So guilty. This part. So we're gonna let the first part go. Moves, and then you're gonna layer shimmies. Okay. And I like to shimmy through this whole section with layers. This is my thing that I like to play with in this song. And then we finish here. So we're gonna play with just that little chunk, okay? So there's a little bit of smooth shimmies, smooth shimmies, and then we're gonna shimmy with layers through the rest of it, okay? So I want you to, I'm gonna give you some like guardrails for this section, okay? So I'd like you to play with all of the concepts that we just did. Weight shifts, large and small, lifted and heavy, okay? And I always forget one, speed. I think that was the one I forgot last time too. So I want you to play with all those concepts. I also would like you to layer figure eights, slides. Okay, so you can slide your hips. You can move wherever you want. Travel, step around, however you like. Slides, figure eights, vertical figure eights, and undulations and chest lifts. Okay, so we had talked about chest lifts at the beginning of class, and we haven't really revisited them until now. But I love to use this tool to amaze my audience because when you are shimmying and you lift up and your belly is jiggling, like, people love it. I said this already, but people love it, okay? So it's a people pleaser. And it feels cool for me. I like to do it too for myself as well, selfishly. Okay, so I want you to play with rib lifts and drops, kind of like you're breathing. Okay, so not like an isolation, but like you're breathing. Okay, and then you can add in little undulations too, so a breath and then roll down the belly too. Okay, so that's the other movement that you can feel free to use when you do this. Okay, so I have 2 dogs at home and one is currently slurping up water behind the camera, so I hope you don't hear that. No, okay. That's good. Noise canceling is good. I'm always like, I wonder if they can hear my very loud golden doodle who's obsessed with water going. Okay, so Shake Shack Shook, the middle section. Weight shifts. Figure eights horizontal. Figure eights vertical. Breathing chest lifts. And undulations. Okay? The other thing I would like you to do is focus on not packing it with too much. So less is truly more. If you want to amaze your audience, less is more. If you pack too much into one little thing, they're just going to be like, oh my, what am I supposed to look at, right? Like, it overwhelms them. So less is seriously more. Okay? So when you do this improv, I want you to do the minimum that you can do while still expressing the music, okay? Instead of overwhelming yourself and your prospective audience by doing a million movements a minute, okay? So less is more. All of those concepts with some layers, okay? And you can also follow me. So you can either do your own thing or follow me. The first time I'm going to do it facing the mirror, and then the second time I'm going to do it facing you, okay? So follow me or improvisation and all of those concepts, okay? Let's do it. Here we go. Smooth. No shimmies yet. Shimmy. Lift. Okay, how did that feel? I feel like most of you probably know this song. So so hopefully you're kind of, you know it and you're like, okay, I at least know the music somewhat. It makes improv a little bit easier sometimes when you know the music and the swells and all of this. Okay, I'm trying not to talk while I dance so that you can really listen to the music and not my voice talking over the music. So you can follow along with me or improv, but I really want you to listen to the music and let your body be a reaction to what your ear is hearing. Okay? Using those concepts, but let your body react to the music instead of thinking. Sometimes as dancers, we think so much about the movements and the sequence that we're going to do, you know? Like we think about, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then this, and then this, and we don't listen to the music. Even though we're dancing and there's music playing, we're kind of dancing on top of the music and not into the music and with the music, okay? So this time, listen. If you miss something, it's fine. We're just in class. Even if you're in performance, you miss something, nobody's going to be like, oh, she missed that swell. Okay? What the heck is she doing? Yeah. Okay, so one more time. Listening this time. Make sure you're listening to the music. Good. Nice. Okay, I kind of want to do it just one more time and then we'll cool down, I guess, if we must finish the class. Okay, one more time because it's fun to play with. And if you've been following me, I encourage you to branch off and do your own thing just this time. Okay. And I think I'm going to try traveling more this time. Oops, let me go back a little further. That song is fun. Sorry. Basic belly dancer. I think, I can't remember who did, but there was a dancer who posted on Facebook about Shake Shack Shook, and it was very split. Some people were like, I like it, audiences love it, you know, and some people were like, oh my God, why?
I saw a video where they were using a part of this, and when they were kind of making fun of it because they were talking about their age. And so some
Yes.
of them, you know, where they'll do like a really sharp shoulder. And there was one video where the guy who did the shoulder, I can't do this. I'm in my 40s. I can't do this. He's like, hospital. And then they kept stitching that part, and everybody
Yeah.
got increasingly more hurt. It's just really funny. It
Oh
makes me think
gosh.
about that sometimes when
That's
I'm
so
doing
funny.
like a
The
shoulder. Oh, no.
This is why you have
Uh,
to work on your mobility and you have to
yes,
move, take your transit
100%.
every day.
Where people
And
are
still
like, "Oh yeah,
sometimes we get injured. So
absolutely."
yeah.
People were like, "These can't be the same knees I jumped
Yeah,
off
I
the
know, I
swing
know.
with. What is this?"
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately. Okay, let's cool down to some beautiful music, some beautiful Canoon music. All right, we're gonna start with our legs apart, shifting our weight, breathing. Reach up. Inhale, exhale. Good. Reach up. And exhale. Good. Reach up, roll down. Flat back up. Again, reach down, flat back up. Two more. Good. Reach up. Inhale, exhale. We're going to roll the shoulders back. Roll the shoulders back. Now we're going to roll the shoulders back, collapse over, and roll up through the spine. Head comes up last. Roll the shoulders, collapse up. Roll the shoulders, collapse forward. One more time. Roll the shoulders, collapse forward. Good. Roll the head to the right. Shoulders roll around. Bend the knees. Upper body all the way around. Good. To the left, just the head. Shoulders. Keep going. Upper body, bend the knees. Reach up. And bend the knees. One more time. Reach up, roll down through the spine. We're going to roll up for a slow count of 8. Bend the knees. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Good. Yay! I hope you enjoyed working on shimmies, maybe in a bit of a different way than just drilling them. Yeah, so there's so much potential for expression with our shimmies. And as your homework, if you would like I said, write down those 4 things we talked about, put it on your wall, and pick a piece of music. And it doesn't have to be a taksim. We worked a lot with taksims today, but it does not need to be a taksim. It can be a drum solo. It can be one of my favorite drum solos to work with shimmies is Shimabulous, because of the name, obviously, but also because it's just really good to like work on shimmies almost the entire time. And it's kind of long too. I think it's like 5 minutes, if I recall correctly. Put on a drum solo, a pop song, chic shack shook, whatever you wanna put on that kind of lends itself well to this, and listen to the music and try to put all of those things in motion and just work on it until it becomes part of your body and it becomes natural to you. Like everything, really. All right. Thank you so much for joining me.